At 10:47 p.m., my wife's best friend barged into my house without knocking. Her mascara was running, her hands were trembling, and she said the exact words that made my stomach drop into my shoes. I can't keep covering for her anymore. Then she told me something that didn't just break my heart. It set it on fire. I've never been the suspicious husband type. For 6 years, I thought Claire and I had one of those solid, boring in a good way marriages. But the last month, it's like I'm living with a stranger. A stranger who keeps secrets like their oxygen. It started with her phone. Always in sight before. Now it's glued to her hand like it's surgically attached. The screen always facing down. She started muting her notifications. If I even walk into the room while she's texting, she flips it over so fast you'd think it's evidence in a murder trial. Then came the gym obsession. She used to go 3 times a week, tops. Suddenly, it's every day, with a brand new personal trainer named Tyler. At first, I was all for it. Sure, babe, get fit, feel good. But then the workout started lasting 3 hours. And she'd come home with freshly washed hair, even though our gym doesn't have showers. Still, I might have ignored it if not for Rachel, her best friend. Normally, Rachel's the type to waltz in, steal a soda from the fridge, and gossip for hours. But lately, she avoids my eyes. She talks less. She acts jumpy. One Thursday night, I came home early from work. The lights in the kitchen were on. I could hear low voices. Claire and Rachel were standing close, whispering like 2 kids hiding stolen candy. The second they saw me, they both jumped like they'd been caught with a dead body. Claire slapped on a fake smile. Oh hey, just girl talk. Rachel mumbled something and bolted out the door so fast she nearly left her purse. When I asked Claire later what that was about, she rolled her eyes and claimed Rachel was stressed about her marriage and didn't want to talk about it in front of me. It felt rehearsed. And then the little lies started stacking up. She'd say she was going grocery shopping, but the store she mentioned had been closed for an hour. She'd work late, but I'd see on her fitness tracker she'd burned 600 calories in the last 2 hours. I didn't confront her. I didn't want to sound paranoid, but inside, my gut was screaming. Then last night happened. I was watching TV when Rachel walked straight into my living room without knocking. Her eyes were bloodshot, and she was breathing hard like she'd run here. She didn't even sit down at first, just stood there and blurted, I can't keep covering for her anymore. You need to know what she's been doing. My stomach tightened. Covering for who? I asked, even though I already knew. Claire, she said. She's been cheating on you. For months. With Tyler. I felt like the floor tilted under me. But Rachel didn't stop. She said every girl's night was actually Claire meeting Tyler at his apartment, or, in one case, at a hotel an hour away. Rachel had even texted me from Claire's phone sometimes to keep the lie alive. I wanted to think Rachel was lying, maybe trying to cause drama. But then she pulled out her phone and showed me the proof. Screenshots of Claire saying things like, Tyler booked the room, same place as last time, and cover for me if he asks, you're with me tonight. Then came the hotel reservation confirmation. My wife's name, Tyler's name, 2 nights, King Suite. That was enough to make me sick, but Rachel wasn't done. She told me she's going to leave you, Rachel said quietly, but she wants to make sure she's financially stable first. That's why she hasn't said anything. She's planning to drain your joint account before she goes. That was the twist of the knife. It wasn't just the betrayal. It was the calculation, the coldness. I sat there frozen while Rachel apologized over and over. She admitted she'd only kept quiet because Claire swore she was just having fun and would end it soon. But when Rachel's own husband found out, he gave her an ultimatum, tell me or lose her marriage. Before leaving, Rachel said something I still can't shake. I think she's with him right now. She said she was out late at the gym, but I know where she really goes. And then she gave me an address. I'm staring at that slip of paper right now. My wife's still not home, but I have a feeling I know exactly where she is. After Rachel left, I just sat there staring at the paper with the address on it. My pulse was thudding in my ears. I knew I could drive over, storm in, and catch Claire in the act. But another thought hit me. If she really was planning to drain our joint account before leaving, I needed to be smarter. I went straight to my laptop and logged into our bank account. And sure enough, I nearly punched the desk when I saw it. 3 separate withdrawals over the last month, each for just under $2,000. All ATM cash withdrawals in different neighborhoods. Claire almost never uses cash. My guess? That money was feeding Tyler's lifestyle. I immediately transferred half of our savings into a new account under my name only. It wasn't even about the money. It was about taking control. I also locked the joint credit card before she could rack up a bill in my name. The next morning, I went into work running on about 2 hours of sleep. My job's in the sustainability department of a mid-sized tech company, and I was planning to quietly get through the day, but fate had other ideas. Our manager called an impromptu meeting. I wasn't even listening until I heard my name. And congratulations to Derek for winning our recycling initiative bonus. Highest collection rate in the entire department. You've earned yourself a trip to Las Vegas for two, courtesy of the company. Everyone clapped. I forced a smile. I didn't care about Vegas. But then it hit me. Vegas wasn't just a vacation. It was distance. A break. And if I played this right, it could be the perfect place to think and maybe line up my next move without Claire breathing down my neck. The trip was the following weekend. I didn't even tell Claire I'd won it. Just said I was going to a work retreat. If she could have secrets, so could I. By Friday afternoon, I was on a plane to Nevada. It felt surreal walking through the neon chaos of the Strip, luggage in hand, nobody asking where I was or what I was doing. My plan was to hole up in my room, maybe hit a few buffets, and think. But Vegas doesn't work like that. On my first night, while wandering through the hotel's rooftop bar, I heard a voice say, "Derek? Is that you?" I turned, and there she was, Emily Carter. We'd gone to the same university. Back then, Emily had been 2 years ahead of me. Always the life of the campus radio station, sharp-witted, the kind of person who made you feel like you were the only one in the room when she talked to you. I hadn't seen her in over a decade. We caught up fast. Emily was in Vegas for a media conference. She'd become a travel podcaster. Her job was literally to go to cool places, meet interesting people, and tell stories. She was still the same, funny, smart, easy to talk to, but now she had that kind of confidence people only get from living life on their own terms. Somewhere between our second drink and the rooftop fireworks show, I found myself telling her the whole situation. Not every detail, just enough for her to understand why I looked like I'd aged 5 years in the past week. She didn't interrupt, didn't pity me. She just listened. Then she said something I didn't expect. "Derek, if you think she's still lying, you should use this trip to your advantage. People slip up when they think you're far away. You might find more than you expect without even trying." It was like she'd read my mind. We ended up at a blackjack table, talking and laughing until 2 a.m. I'd forgotten what it felt like to be around someone who wasn't walking on eggshells or hiding something. When we said goodnight in the lobby, she touched my arm and said, "Don't waste this trip, and call me before you leave town." The next morning, I woke up to a text from an unknown number. It was a photo. My wife, Claire, in a restaurant booth. Across from her, Tyler. And under it, the message, "Thought you should know where she really is tonight." No name. No explanation. And from the decor in the background, I knew instantly it wasn't anywhere near our hometown. It was Vegas. I stared at that text until the screen went black. My hands were clammy, my stomach twisting. Claire wasn't supposed to know I was here. I told her my work retreat was in Denver. So why was she sitting in a Vegas restaurant with him? I replayed every detail in my head. The only way she could have known I wasn't home was if she'd already been tracking me. But that made no sense, unless she'd been worried about me finding out where she was. The photo wasn't grainy or zoomed in. Whoever took it had been sitting only a few feet away, which meant two things. One, they were close enough to hear something. And two, they wanted me to know, badly. I zoomed in. Claire was leaning forward, smiling. Not the polite smile she used on acquaintances, but the smile she used when she was fully locked in on someone. Tyler's hand was resting on the table, close enough to brush hers. She looked comfortable, like they'd done this before. I didn't reply to the text. I just saved the photo, grabbed my jacket, and headed downstairs. The restaurant in the picture was easy to place. It was inside a high-end casino 2 blocks away. By the time I got there, my adrenaline had kicked into overdrive. I had no plan, just a gnawing need to see it with my own eyes. The hostess greeted me with the usual forced Vegas smile. "Table for one." "No," I said, scanning the room. "I'm meeting friends." I spotted them in the far corner. Claire was laughing at something Tyler had said. She hadn't noticed me yet. My first instinct was to march over and blow it up right there. But then I remembered Emily's words. People slip up when they think you're far away. So I didn't go to their table. Not yet. Instead, I slid into an empty booth near the bar with a clear view of them. I ordered a drink I didn't want and just watched. For 20 minutes, I studied every movement, every look. Tyler leaned in, brushed her hair off her shoulder. She didn't flinch. She smiled wider. At one point, she took out her phone, typed something, and handed it to him. He read it, laughed, and pocketed it. That's when I decided to take a picture of my own. I angled my phone discreetly, snapped 3 shots, and sent them to my private email. Backup. Then, just as the waiter brought their check, Claire stood and headed toward the restroom. Tyler stayed behind, scrolling through his phone. I saw my chance. I slid out of my booth and walked straight to their table. "Tyler, I said. He looked up, startled. Do I know? Yes, I said sharply. You know exactly who I am. He froze, eyes darting toward the restroom. I leaned in, keeping my voice low. Here's how this is going to go. You're going to finish your little vacation, and when you get home, you're going to block her number. Permanently. If I hear from her, or about you, again, I'll make sure your gym knows exactly what kind of training you've been doing. And I'll make sure your clients do, too. His jaw tightened, but he didn't say a word. I didn't wait for a response. I just straightened, gave him one last look, and walked out. I didn't go back to my hotel. I didn't even go back to Emily's conference lounge, where I'd thought about grabbing a drink earlier. I just walked the strip, letting the neon glare and street noise drown out the pounding in my head. An hour later, my phone buzzed. It was an unknown number again. I saw you talking to him. Good. But you need to know something else. She's not just here for him. I typed back, who is this? No reply. I waited 5 minutes. Then 10. Finally, a second message came through. Check your bank account. She already has. My chest tightened. I ducked into the nearest coffee shop, pulled out my phone, and logged in. $4,800 gone. Transferred from our joint account to a card I didn't recognize. The timestamp? Just an hour earlier. Which meant she'd done it while sitting in that restaurant with Tyler. The anger came hard and fast. It wasn't just the betrayal anymore. It was the insult. She'd flown to Vegas, met with him in public, and stolen from me while doing it. I closed my eyes and took a long, slow breath. If I confronted her now, she'd deny everything, spin it, maybe even make a scene that got me tossed out of a casino. But if I played this right, I could leave Vegas with all the proof I'd ever need, and maybe even get the money back. And that's when I realized something. Emily. She was a professional storyteller. She had media contacts, a knack for getting people to talk, and, most importantly, she wasn't afraid of confrontation. If anyone could help me turn this situation to my advantage, it was her. I texted her. Change of plans. Need your help. Urgent. Her reply came 30 seconds later. Lobby bar in 20. And Derek? We're your game face. For the first time in days, I felt something other than fury. I felt ready. Emily was already at the bar when I arrived, wearing a fitted black blazer and that confident smile that always seemed 2 steps ahead of everyone else. She slid a glass of club soda toward me. I figured you'd need a clear head, she said. I sat down, leaned in, and told her everything. The photo, the confrontation with Tyler, the mystery texter, the missing $4,800. Her eyes narrowed at that last part. She's bold, Emily said, and careless. People who pull stunts like this think they're untouchable, until someone shows them they're not. Problem is, I said, if I confront her now, she'll deny everything. I need something concrete. Something that makes her admit it in her own words. Emily smirked. So we make her comfortable enough to brag. That's when she laid out her plan. Step 1. Get Claire and Tyler in the same place again. Step 2. Give them the illusion I'd left town early. Step 3. Record everything. Vegas was full of cameras, but we could be more subtle. Emily had a friend from the conference who did AV work, hidden mics, discreet recording equipment. She could have it in our hands by dinner. The bait? Emily had overheard someone at the media event mention a high-stakes poker night in one of the hotel's private suites. The kind of event that drew people looking to impress or people looking to flaunt new money. Your wife, Emily said, strikes me as someone who likes to be seen spending. By 6 p.m., we had the gear, 2 tiny clip-on mics disguised as jacket buttons and a pen camera that could record for hours. Emily texted the mystery number. I need her location tonight. Make it worth your while. 10 minutes later, they responded with an address. Not a casino this time. A rooftop lounge at a luxury hotel across the strip. Perfect. I told Claire via text that my work retreat had been cut short and I was flying back early in the morning. No reply. No safe travels. Nothing. Good. We dressed for the part. Emily in a deep green cocktail dress. Me in a suit I hadn't worn since a wedding 2 years ago. At the rooftop bar, the view of the strip was a sea of glittering lights. It didn't take long to spot them. Claire, in a red dress I'd bought her last Christmas. Tyler, in a cheap suit trying to look expensive. We took seats at the bar, just close enough for my mic to pick up their voices, but far enough they wouldn't notice me. Emily kept up a steady stream of small talk, so I could casually angle the pen camera in their direction. Claire was laughing, holding a drink in one hand and waving her phone in the other. It was so easy, she was saying. He actually thinks I'm still in Denver. Meanwhile, I'm here, and I've got enough in my account too. She trailed off, leaning toward Tyler. I heard him chuckle. You sure he won't notice? By the time he does, she said, I'll have transferred the rest. The words hit me like a gut punch, but I kept my face neutral. Emily's eyes flicked to me. She'd heard it too. Then Claire leaned back, swirling her drink. Honestly, I'm done pretending. After this weekend, I'm telling him I'm moving out. Tyler, and I can start fresh. Tyler didn't look thrilled at that, which was interesting. He glanced around, spotted someone near the entrance, and stiffened. I turned my head just enough to see a man in his late 40s, sharp suit, salt and pepper hair. He walked straight toward their table. Tyler muttered something under his breath. Claire froze. The man stopped beside them. Tyler, he said coolly, you want to explain why you're here instead of at work? Work? My brain scrambled. Then it clicked. This was his boss. The exchange got heated fast. The boss accused Tyler of skipping shifts and stealing clients. Tyler denied it, but Claire jumped in, trying to smooth things over. That's when the boss looked at her and said, "And you are?" "I'm." Claire started, but Tyler cut her off. "She's no one." That landed like a slap. Her face went white, then red. She grabbed her purse and stalked toward the exit without another word. Tyler followed, arguing with the boss as they disappeared into the elevator lobby. Emily turned to me, eyes blazing. "That's it. You've got her admitting theft and planning to leave you, all on tape. Plus, she just got humiliated by her boyfriend in front of his boss. If we move fast, we can hit her with the recordings before she even figures out who was listening." I couldn't stop the small, grim smile creeping onto my face. Vegas hadn't just given me proof. It had given me leverage, and I was about to use it. The flight back felt like the longest 3 hours of my life. I had the recordings backed up on a cloud drive, a flash drive, and Emily's laptop. Losing them wasn't an option. They were my nuclear option. Emily and I said our goodbyes at the Vegas airport. "Text me when it's done," she said, squeezing my arm. "And Derek, don't give her any chance to twist the narrative." When my plane touched down, I didn't go straight home. Instead, I stopped at my bank to finalize the new account and have them flag any suspicious withdrawals from the joint one. The teller raised an eyebrow when I asked about pressing charges for unauthorized transfers. "If you have proof it wasn't your spending," she said, "you might be able to recover it. But you'll need to move fast." Fast was exactly what I had in mind. Claire's car was already in the driveway when I pulled up. I could see her silhouette through the living room window, pacing. The moment I opened the door, she was on me, fake relief plastered across her face. "Derek, you're back early," I thought. I cut her off. "Sit down." The tone must have landed, because she froze mid-step. I didn't sit across from her. I stood, pulling the flash drive from my pocket and setting it on the coffee table. "Everything you've done," I said evenly, "is on here. Every word you said to Tyler in Vegas. Every dollar you took. Every plan you made to leave me." Her face went pale. "I don't know what you're talking about." "You will." I pulled out my phone and hit play. Her voice filled the room. "By the time he does, I'll have transferred the rest," followed by Tyler's laugh. She shot up from the couch. "That's out of context." "No," I said, my voice sharper now. "That's exactly the context. You're sitting there bragging about stealing from me. You're planning your exit while lying to my face about where you were." She crossed her arms, chin up like she was daring me to keep going. "And what? You're just going to use that against me? That's illegal, Derek. You can't record people without their permission." "That's where you're wrong," I said. "Nevada's a one-party consent state. And guess what? I was the party." The fight drained from her shoulders in an instant. "Derek, please. I got in over my head." "Tyler, don't say his name," I snapped. "He's irrelevant now. This is between you and me." For a long moment, she didn't speak. Then, in a tone so calm it almost unnerved me, she said, "What do you want?" That was the question. I could call a lawyer right then, file for divorce, and include financial misconduct. I could take the recordings to her parents, her job, even Tyler's boss. But part of me wanted to see her admit it fully, without excuses. "I want you to tell me, in your own words, what you did," I said. "And I want it recorded. You do that, maybe we can talk about how this ends without the police involved." Her eyes darted to the door like she was weighing the odds of making a run for it. Then she sat back down slowly. "Fine," she muttered. I hit record on my phone. She talked, haltingly at first, then with more detail than I'd expected. The withdrawals, the fake alibis, the Vegas trip. She even admitted Rachel had covered for her from the start. By the time she was done, there was no way she could spin it. When I stopped recording, she looked at me with a weird mix of defiance and desperation. "Now what?" "Now," I said, "you pack a bag. You're leaving tonight." That's when the mask cracked. She stood so fast the coffee table rattled. "You think you can just throw me out? This is my house too." "It's the landlord's house," I said, "and your name isn't on the lease. You'll leave, or the cops will help you." Her voice rose. "You're destroying us over a mistake. A mistake is forgetting to buy milk. I shot back. This was a choice. Over and over again. She didn't try to argue after that. She stomped into the bedroom, yanked clothes from drawers, and stuffed them into a duffel. 10 minutes later, she was gone. I locked the door, slid the deadbolt, and let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. But just as I sat down, my phone buzzed. Unknown number again. She's not going quietly. Watch your back. Before I could respond, another text came through, from Rachel this time. Call me ASAP. You need to know what she's planning. My relief was already gone, because something told me this wasn't over. I called Rachel immediately. She didn't waste time with greetings. She's at her parents' right now, but Derek, she's telling people you were abusive. She's saying she had to leave for her safety. And she's talking about going after you for spousal support, using the Vegas money withdrawals as proof you were hiding assets. My grip tightened on the phone. She stole from me, Rachel. I know, Rachel said. But she's panicking, and when she panics, she lies. You need to be ready. I barely slept that night. I kept replaying the recordings in my head, her voice bragging, plotting. I knew I had the upper hand legally, but smear campaigns can move faster than the truth. By morning, I made my decision. I was going to end this, publicly. I called Emily. How would you like to produce one more story? She laughed. I thought you'd never ask. 2 days later, we were sitting in the same Vegas rooftop lounge where I'd caught Claire. Emily had brought her portable podcast setup, a couple of discreet mics, a high-definition camera, and that journalist's instinct to find the emotional jugular. You sure you want to do this? She asked as she adjusted the equipment. Once it's out, there's no taking it back. That's the point, I said. The episode wasn't just a rant. It was meticulous. I told the story from the beginning, how I noticed the changes, how Rachel came forward, the Vegas proof, the bank withdrawals. Then I played snippets of Claire's own voice admitting to it all. Emily cut in with commentary on financial abuse, manipulation tactics, and the way cheaters rewrite history to make themselves the victim. We titled it, When the Cheater Plays the Victim, Caught in Vegas. Emily's podcast wasn't tiny. She had tens of thousands of listeners. Within 24 hours, the episode had blown up. People shared it on forums, social media, even a few relationship advice YouTubers picked it up. I didn't name Claire directly, but between the red dress, the city, and the personal trainer detail, people in our circle connected the dots. That's when the real explosion happened. Claire called me screaming, "You ruined my life. Do you know how many people are calling me right now?" "Good," I said calmly. "Now you know how it feels." She sobbed, then switched to fury. "I'll sue you for defamation." "You can try," I said, "but truth is a defense, and I have it all recorded." There was a long silence. Then she said something I didn't expect. "Tyler dumped me. He says I'm too much drama. I hope you're happy." I didn't reply. I just hung up. Over the next week, I started hearing things. Mutual friends stopped speaking to her. Her parents told her to take some time away from the family because of the embarrassment. Tyler's boss fired him after someone emailed the podcast episode to the gym. Rachel texted me one night. She's moving out of state. Says she can't stand running into people who know. I thought I'd feel triumphant. And in some ways, I did. But there was also this quiet emptiness, like when a storm finally ends and you're left staring at the wreckage. Emily called to check in. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. "Just ready to close the book." She paused. "You didn't just close it, Derek. You lit it on fire and filmed the ashes." Maybe she was right. On the day Claire left town, I got one last text from that unknown number. "It's over. She won't be back. Good job." I never found out who it was. A friend of a friend? Someone from the gym? Maybe even Tyler's boss. It doesn't matter. What matters is, I got my life back. That's the end of today's story. Did things turn out the way you thought? Or were there some surprises along the way? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you haven't joined the community yet, now's the perfect time. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you're always the first to catch new stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.